I'd like to tell you a story about Carlos Osama Moglendish. Carlos was a young man who dreamed of succeeding in America. To this end, he mastered the basic skills of reading, writing, mathematics, and ESL. He visited with his counselor and learned to use the library. He went on to graduate and get a good job. He married his college sweetheart, and together they had a couple of kids. Life was good. However, Carlos was obese, and he started feeling lethargic at work, being less productive, missing more days as he visited with the doctor regarding various aches and pains. I'd like to tell you more about Carlos. However, he passed on. He'll never hear the sound of his children's feet pitter-pattering down the hall or see them succeed in America. You see, he had all the basic skills, but he failed to succeed. It's our job to ask why. It appears he did not have the most basic of skills, knowing how to live a healthy life. And Carlos is not alone. 2 out of 3 Americans are obese or overweight. And overweight or obese are just other words for fat. And as a result of this extra baggage, we're suffering a myriad of ill effects: cancer, diabetes, hypertension, stroke, heart disease, and pulmonary conditions are rampant. And it's predicted that these conditions will increase 42% in the next decade. Obesity is bad. You just don't want to be fat. We must develop a strong program to encourage Americans to develop healthy eating habits and prevent a drain on our resources. By changing American health habits, illness and disease can be avoided and healthcare costs better controlled. We're sending students from SCC to the workplace, yet learning basic skills will be of no use if the employee is unable to perform their duties due to health restrictions. The side effect of obesity in workers includes higher absenteeism, increased healthcare costs, disability claims, and risk of occupational accidents, along with reduced productivity and weight discrimination. Being a healthy weight is a key component to being a productive worker. Teaching students the importance of a balanced, healthy lifestyle is essential in preventing obesity-related illnesses inflicting employees. The loss of health is debilitating, not only to the patient, but to their family, their employer, and our country. Expenditures on health care surpassed $2.3 trillion in 2008. And as health care costs increase for employees, this is going to start hitting your pocketbook. Corporations can no longer afford to absorb health care costs. It's estimated the total annual cost to California due to overweight, obesity, and physical inactivity is $41.2 billion. This is staggering. Our students' future are at risk. 1/3 of all children born in 2000 or later will suffer from diabetes at some point in their lives. Many others will face chronic obesity-related health problems. Today's children and youth are less active, consume more fat and sweetened beverages, and eat fewer healthy foods, especially fruits and vegetables, than we did. Only 51% of today's children eat even 1 serving of fruit or vegetables each day. Currently, less than 1/3 of young people in high school participate in vigorous activity. According to the CDC, daily participation in PE classes dropped from 42% in 1991 to 22% currently. Worse yet, the California Department of Education estimates that 74% of our children are unfit and 32% are overweight. That's a horrible way to grow up. And the risks are greater for blacks and Hispanics. Poor food choices and lower activity rates spell trouble for these children. 50% of children of color born this decade will suffer from diabetes. According to the latest Pentagon figures, a full 35% of the roughly 31.2 million Americans aged 17 to 24 are unqualified for military service because of physical and medical issues. Kurt Gilroy, the Pentagon's Director of Ascension, states, "The major component of this is obesity. We have an obesity crisis in the country. There's no doubt about it." The Pentagon draws its data from the Center for Disease Control, which regularly tracks obesity. This steadily rising trend is not good for military recruiters or for the health of our nation. In 1987, according to the CDC, about 1 out of 25 18 to 34-year-olds were obese. In 2008, 22 years later, 1 out of 4 of this age group are considered to be obese. The major reason for mortality and morbidity in the United States is chronic disease. In 2005, 133 million people, about half the U.S. population, had at least one chronic disease. 7 out of 10 deaths among Americans each year are from chronic disease. So, what do you think the most unhealthful thing we do every day is? Drive? Drink? Eat fast food? Actually, it's sit. Over a lifetime, the unhealthful effects of sitting add up. A scientist at the American Cancer Society determined that men who spent 6 hours or more per day of their leisure time sitting had an overall death rate that was about 20% higher than men who sat half that time. And for women, it was even worse. The death rate for women who sat for more than 6 hours a day was about 40% higher. The scientist estimates that on average, people who sit too much shave a few years off of their lives. Our government estimates that we need about 30 minutes of vigorous physical activity most days a week. Sadly, only 3.5% of American adults are achieving this level. We must encourage healthy activity so that there is a greater chance that students will partake in it. Look at this list. Obviously, no one wants to have any part of these illnesses, but there appears to be a disconnect. People don't seem to understand how they can live a healthy life and avoid these problems. The good news is, however, there is something you can do. And it's not only good for you, it's great for your brain, for your energy, for your overall health, and how you look and feel. Exercise and eating right makes a difference. Think about your car. You wouldn't put junk in the tank and expect it to take you long distances. The same is true for your body. And there are so many benefits to physical activity. Scientists cited 24% decrease in colon cancer risk and a 20 to 80% risk reduction in breast cancer in active people. Plus, there are lots of studies linking better academic performance with higher activity levels. It's been shown that students learn better if they exercise before class, perform better on tests, and feel better. A study of 2.4 million Texas students revealed that students with higher level of physical fitness were better behaved and had higher test scores in math and reading. Exercise optimizes your mindset to improve alertness, attention, and motivation. The neurological impact of sustained aerobic fitness in young people showed that among more than 1 million 18-year-old boys who joined the Army, better fitness was correlated with higher IQs. In addition, physical activity stretches students to learn their abilities, develop a mind-body connection, and encourages students to dream big. Plus, there's more. People with healthier lifestyles live an average of 6 to 9 years longer, postpone disability by 9 years, and compress disability into fewer years at the end of life. Exercise is the single best thing you can do for your brain, says a Harvard professor. U.S. News reported that running led to an increase in new brain cells in a part of the brain that plays a large role in learning and memory, in a story about keeping your brain fit. One of the prominent features of exercise, which is sometimes not appreciated in studies, is an improvement in the rate of learning, according to the director of the Institute for Brain Aging and Dementia at UC Irvine. This means that if you're in good shape, you may be able to learn and function more efficiently. What more could anybody want? So let's talk about basic skills. Mark Wade Liu from the Chancellor's Office, California Community Colleges, is in charge of Basic Skills ESL. He stated basic skills are linked with Title V, which outlines preparatory skills to complete collegiate work levels. At Solano College, the term basic skills usually refers to ESL, reading, writing, and mathematics, but counseling, library services, student services, and career technical education, as they apply to the before mentioned, have also been added to the list. Solano College feels time management fits within this group, but not physical activity or health, according to Susanna Crawford. Mr. Liu, however, agrees that PE is a foundational skill which affects the success and preparation of students in reading and mathematics. In our conversation, Mr. Liu stated, California needs a healthy workforce and students able to handle the rigorous demands of military, fire, and police service. It would seem logical that if basic skills at SCC have expanded to include counseling, library services, student services, career technical education, and time management as they apply to ESL, reading, writing, and mathematics, then the very basic of skills, the need to be healthy and well in order to be prepared and succeed in life, should be addressed with students and faculty. These skills could have saved Carlos's life. One of the physical education coordinators in Dr. Rady's book states, in our department, we create the brain cells. It's up to the other teachers to fill them. So, what can be done? Certainly we need high-quality physical education instruction. This counteracts heart disease, improves strength, flexibility, endurance, and bone density. In addition, it improves students' self-confidence, self-esteem, and self-control. I'm not sure how many of you have taken a PE course at SCC. My classes include writing assignments, reading, and tests. They are more than activity courses. We must teach SCC students how to live healthy lives. A study shows the cognitive impact in young people of 20 minutes of running on a treadmill compared with 20 minutes of playing sports-style video games at a similar intensity. Running improved test scores immediately afterwards. Playing video games did not. A physical education program which focuses on personal progress and lifelong fitness activities, along with setting goals, is key. This type of physical education can increase activity levels, improve physical fitness, help control weight, and enhance academic performance. And it should be an integral component of our educational system. Such a program could benefit the lives of our students, regardless of their economic circumstances or their social backgrounds, as well as the financial and economic well-being of our state. So, what can you do? Certainly, you need to set a good example. You need to get moving, you need to eat right, you need to be the proper weight. You need to encourage activity. Get students moving pre-test. Encourage movement incorporated into studying. Encourage enrollment in physical activity classes. And you need to motivate and cheer. Last week I participated in the New York City Triathlon, and I noticed it was the athletes at the end of the pack that benefited most from the cheering on the sidelines. This is key. We want everyone to make it to the finish line. After all, a strong mind sits on top of a strong body.